Welcome to the What I'd Miss podcast with Dennis Styles. On this show, I'll be covering all the stuff not on my YouTube channel at DS2 Smooth, from movie and game reviews and movie and gaming news to anime, comic books, and anything else I feel like yapping about. Can we get like a round in the fuck? I was just about to say I didn't mess up and then I messed up. But yeah, can we get like a round of applause for that intro? I thought it was pretty good. I still got butterflies in my stomach, like recording, because, you know, this is still new and I'm nervous. Yeah, there's no way around that. But as we get on, I'll get less and less nervous. But before we start, before I like get into what we got going on, last week I called J.K. Rowling. Fuck, I just did it. I called J.K. Simmons, the guy who plays J. Jonah in, he's in other stuff, but the guy who plays J. Jonah in the Spider-Man Raimi films, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, plays J. Jonah Jameson. I called him J.K. Rowling instead of J.K. Simmons last week. And I just want to correct that. I posted, no, I said it in the description, but I don't know if anyone is listening to this, if they read the description. But yeah, I said that. And what's funny about that, sorry I'm like going on about this, but what's funny about that is I literally looked up the name, saw J.K. Simmons and saw J.K. Rowling right under, and then I was like, okay, J.K. Simmons. And then when I said it, my brain just said J.K. Rowling. If you don't know who J.K. Rowling is, she's the maker of the Harry Potter like books and franchise, and she's also like I don't know if she's racist, but I know for sure she's like very transphobic. So she's not a very good person. So that's why I want to clear that mix up. It's not really that big of a deal, but it was just some like a funny mix up that I wanted to correct. But yeah, so I might cut that out. I don't know yet because that was kind of long. I don't know. So the news for this week though, it's kind of on the lighter side, which is good because oh my gosh, the last like 2 weeks I had like a lot of news to talk about and it was just a lot. And you know, I want to, like I said last week, I want to keep these to like an hour 20 hour half length, but it's still looking like, I think last week's episode was still like an hour 50 something. So it's still pretty long. It's honestly looking like the show's just about to be over, like overall, like just on average 2 hours, which is, I just got to get used to, I guess. Just because, I mean, there just be a lot of stuff I want to talk about. And I could probably do a little better about like combing through and like making sure I specifically have a lot to talk about. But I don't know. Especially it's like I'm into a lot of things, gaming news, movie news, and all that anime news. So there's a lot to talk about. But yeah, there's like not a lot of news, but back to that. So there's some interesting behind the scenes news that's been coming out about like Marvel, Disney, and Sony from this book called MCU: The Reign of Marvel Studios. And this book released on the 10th, and it's just like a bunch of insider stuff, just a bunch of interviews and stuff with a bunch of different people. I got to look more into it, but yeah, a bunch of news and stuff has been coming out about that, and stuff like canceled Sony projects of Spider-Man riding a T-Rex in like a Sinister Six movie, which sounds cool. We've heard about that Sinister Six movie previously. I'll get into it when we get to the news. And then some troubling executive news, like some pressuring to announce things that are not ready and just to please investors. Well, I'll get into it. And then Gen V gets a season 2 confirmation, and I'll be going into a little bit what that means for the future of the Boys universe and how that will play in with the Boys show itself. And then some on the gaming side of things, we have some EA Ironman game development news, which I'm very excited for. And then there's a couple other bits of news, but the main topic of this week is my Spider-Man 2 first impressions. Yes, sir. The game finally came out. I got to play for a little bit. I had a busy weekend, so I didn't get to play a whole lot. But I'll be reviewing the game, so I'll be coming back to this. But I just want to give my first impressions and stuff because I'm really enjoying it. But enough with that intro. There'll be time codes and stuff to jump around if you want to go to a specific piece of news or just go straight to my first impressions on Spider-Man. But yeah, time codes below. And so let's get into it for this week. So Invincible, let me go to the article. So Invincible Season 2 is coming out in November, I believe. And Eric Kripke, the showrunner of Invincible, he said that season 3 is well underway, and we can. Let me go to the tweet. I have the article pulled up. Let me go to the tweet though. A rough version of the season is laid out, and now it's just a process of wrapping it all up. This is news, good news, because Invincible season 1 came out during the pandemic, I think, and so they weren't able to. After season 1 was like highly praised, and then they weren't really able to make a lot of, with COVID hitting, it slowed up a lot of production. So season 2 got jammed up a lot, and so it took a while to win. I think it was like a 2-year wait, low key. Might be a little less than that, but it was a while. And so everyone was in. I don't know if it was Robert Kirkman. It probably was, but someone said that they could see, like one of the creators on the show, or a high level person on the show, said that there could easily be like 7 or 8 seasons of Invincible, and people are like, well, if it's gonna take fucking 2 years per season, 7 and 8 seasons, that's gonna be a while until the show fully wraps up, and which would have been troubling. But like I said, COVID jammed up production, so it seems like they're getting these seasons out a lot quicker now that everything is cleared up and everything. So yeah, let me go to the article though, because he said a couple more things about it. Yeah, so let me just read this. I've seen animatics of every episode in season 3. This is from Kirkman. Kirkman confirmed. So I've seen things moving. I've seen the actors all edited together. I've seen our amazing directing crew and all the board artists have some form of the show together. And God damn it. And so I've seen the entire season in rough form laid out. The text is small. My fault. I'm let me just take a step back. I feel like I'm like on go right now. And that's how I am on these podcasts. Like, I feel like I'm just moving at 1,000,000 miles per minute. So let me just take a step and breathe and be in the moment. Try to act all zen and shit. But hold on, yeah, let's get back to it. I've seen all the movements. I've seen all the movements. I've seen where the season ends up, and it's really cool. Like I say, it's an escalating show. Season 1 was where it's at. Season 2 is where it's at. Season 3 is a little bit higher. And so it's tough talking about season 3 now because no one's seen season 2 yet. But it's really cool being as far as long as we are and having confidence to know, oh, you like season 1? If you like season 1, you're going to love season 2. And if you really love season 2, you're really going to love season 3. So yeah, we've had that kind of like broad view of what we've been doing behind the scenes. And now now it's just a process of wrapping it all up so we can finally share it with the world. Yeah, so it's cool that they're moving so far along. And also I really liked, because I felt this way about the story, I really like that he said, oh, they have had the confidence, and this like speaks to how good the original story was in the comics. Like how he just goes about and says, oh, if you love season 1, you'll love season 2. If you love season 3, if you love season 2, you'll love season 3. And that's how I felt. As soon as I saw that first season, and we were like, it was taking a while to get to get the second season out, I was just like, it's fine. I mean, obviously it's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine because I'm just invested in this story. Like, I didn't love everything about season 1, but overall, the story, I'm locked in, bro, for the long haul. And what's funny about it is if something's like adapted and I really like it, I kind of want to go and check out the source material. Something like Attack on Titan, it's like one of my favorite animes, and so I went and read the manga. Well, fucking the season. If you are into anime, Attack on Titan's it's in the blender right now. Like they're just taking forever, whatever the reason. If it's crunch related and they don't want to like crunch their employees, then yeah, it's valid. But they're just taking a long time, just putting all out the final season. So I read the manga. But even something like Hunter x Hunter, it's one of my favorite anime as well. Like, I want to go back and read the manga. But anyways, point being, after Invincible season 1, I was like, oh shit, this is hella filthy. Let me go read the manga and the comic. And I stopped like in the first couple of pages because the vibe of the show is, and I'm not saying I wouldn't still like the story in the comics, but the way the show presented the story and the way it set it up and the things they highlighted and they don't necessarily highlight in the comics, the version of the story that I fell in love with or just really enjoy is the show version. So I want to ingest that story in the Invincible story in its entirety through the show and not through the comic. But after the show is over, 100%, I'm going to go and read the comic just to see, the source material. Like, I really like the adaptation, so let me check out the source material and experience it that way. But I want to experience the show first. So yeah, I think that's all that on that. Yeah. So and still in the fudge. I was trying to make a cool transition, but I couldn't. These things are both on Amazon. I was trying to a way to like we'll link them together, a wordplay wise. But yeah, so Gen V is getting a second season confirmed, and Eric. Hold on, I was gonna say Eric Kripke, but isn't Eric Kripke? Oh shit! I think I said if I didn't say it, I might have said Robert Kirkman, but he's the person in charge of Invincible. I think he made the original. But if I did say Eric Kripke, I meant Robert Kirkman. This is about Eric Kripke. He's the showrunner for The Boys, and yeah, I might have got that confused. If I did, then my bad. But if I didn't, then I guess not my bad. But yeah, so The Boys season 2 or Gen V is getting a season 2, and I just mixed it up again. Eric Kripke says that The Boys or Gen V season 1 will hand off the baton to Boys season 4. And that makes sense because after Gen V's last episode, there's been some no Gen V spoilers, by the way. There's been some there was like some important stuff introduced to the universe where I'm like, okay, this is definitely gonna bleed into season 4. So hearing this news come out and him saying this is definitely not surprising. And then he also further goes on to say that after The Boys season 4, it's gonna tie the events of The Boys season 4 will hand off the baton back to Gen V season 2. So I'm like getting confused about like all these seasons and getting tongue tied or whatever. But yeah, so it's like a kind of like, hand the baton on to a relay race, kind of, probably not necessarily the same, but they're just going back and forth with it. And I'm gonna get into that possibly not being the best thing, but me personally, I think it's cool. Because what that criticism was gonna be was that, oh, you have to watch this show to enjoy this show, and it could be a lot of work sometimes, and I definitely get that sentiment, and like people have that same like criticism of the current MCU formula. Like a lot of the movies you could definitely just slide into and just get the story like that, but you definitely miss a lot of context and probably like a lot of emotional weight in some cases if you don't check out the what am I trying to say? If you don't check out the shows and then watch a movie that's connected to it. I'm trying to find an example. Like something like Doctor Strange 2 and like WandaVision. Her turn, I still don't think is handled super well, but you miss a lot of context if you don't watch WandaVision going into Doctor Strange 2. There's probably some other instances, like I think in this instance made Love and Thunder worse. Like Loki, there's a really, really good moment in Loki. This fucking devolved into MCU talk, but let me just finish this point and I'll get back on track. But there's this really good moment in Loki where like classic Loki was talking about how he missed Thor and everything, and it was really a heartfelt moment of Loki talking about Thor, and then going into Thor Love and Thunder, and then you don't have Thor really doesn't mention Loki at all. And so it's just like, damn, he was just heartfelt. A version of Loki was just heartfelt felt about Thor and the Loki show, and then you just don't really get a mention in the movie. After like he died in Infinity War, and like he kind of acknowledges it in Infinity War, and like saying like his family's dead and stuff. But after Ragnarok, they were really starting to get on that brotherly track, and to be teammates and friends. And it kind of, I really want to see that picked back up at some point. And that's what the Loki show, fuck MCU talk. And that's what the showrunner for Loki was saying, that they want to end up with a reuniting Thor and Loki again. So hopefully that gets done. But yeah, so if they do, there is a discussion to be had about, the connectedness of this stuff. But me personally, I'm loving both stories. I think it might be recency bias, but I think Gen V is damn near better than The Boys. I might just be chatting right now, but shit, I just think some of the characters in Gen V just have a lot more nuance that The Boys characters don't necessarily have to their extent, because there is nuance with the characters, but I feel like The Boys is a lot more, and Gen V isn't not this, but I feel like The Boys is kind of more like political commentary heavy. and like critiquing and like satire, like making satire of that. And like Gen V's more like social problems and stuff. So it feels like a lot more like there's a lot more, I feel like, nuance to that. Again, I could just be chatting, but that's like what I think of. Damn near like that's why I think Gen V's damn near better than The Boys. But when I say better, these are two heavy hitting shows. So it's like comparing two Lamborghinis together, you know? Like it's not really a slight on the other if I say one's better than the other. Like they're both super, super good in my opinion. So we had a little bit more news about the Office reboot reboot that was supposed to be happening. I think I talked about it in my first episode, maybe. Who said this exactly? I think the creator of during an interview with Collider editor-in-chief for Chief Steve for Prime Video's upload season 3. Daniels offered. So Daniels. Okay, yeah, the Office showrunner. All right, my fault. I just had to see who this was talking about. Okay. There's not a whole lot with this, but basically, instead of a full reboot with a whole new universe, it's gonna be a spinoff. And the showrunner kind of compared it to how Star Wars is with the Mandalorian, how that's like a spinoff, you know. And I don't know. I mean, regardless, I was gonna keep an eye out for this. I don't think The Office itself is lightning in a bottle, like the original show. So I didn't expect it to. Not saying it couldn't, but I didn't expect it to be as good. So I wasn't too fussed about this, but so it's gonna be a lot of people wanted a reboot, and so that's why this is kind of news. And they didn't want to just a spinoff, because who's this gonna be about if it's a spinoff? The only interesting characters I would really care with a spinoff about is Fudge. What is that guy's name? Daryl. What is his real life name? Because he's in a lot of stuff, and I love him in pretty much anything he is in. He's in Pineapple Express. I love him in that. Daryl Phip. What's his real name though? Is that his? Oh, Craig Robinson. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's in a bunch of stuff, and I love him. So I would enjoy a spinoff from about his character. I would also take Dwight. Did he become the manager? I'm pretty sure he became the manager at the end of The Office. So I would be interested in a Rainn Wilson Dwight spinoff of he's the boss. Cause I don't know. I would be interested in that. I'm not saying like it's gonna be good or I'm 100% on board, but I would definitely be jazzed to check that out. Let me see. I'm just trying to think of any other characters I would be willing to watch an Office reboot for. I feel like those are only two characters for me, to be honest. There's probably like more if I really, really think about it, but those are only two characters that really come to mind. And so yeah, I'm not too fussed about this. I mean, a reboot, a spinoff, regardless, we'll see. I'm not too fussed. The name of the TMNT Mutant Mayhem spinoff show got a name. Oh, hold on. The TMNT Mutant Mayhem spinoff show got a name and a release date. I'm not sure if the name is new, but the release date is definitely new. But yeah, this is a spinoff show of the very good, in my opinion, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie. And this is a bridge between the first movie and the second movie that's gonna come out. And yeah, I really think the first movie is fucking fire. It's probably one of my favorite movies of the year for sure. Not even probably, it is for sure. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. I was gonna say for sure again, but but yeah, go check that out. It's a great movie. It's a great kids movie, but it's a great movie in general. Like if you had like a family movie night, this will definitely be enjoyable for everyone, even, you know, the older kids in the family or the dads or whoever. There's a lot to like about it. It's a nice coming of age story. Has a lot of good action, good character moments, everything. But yeah, so the release date on it is for April 2024. And again, I said I was a really big fan of the first movie, and I'm not super pumped for this. It has the cast is same cast is coming back, but that first movie is just so special. And this is being produced by Nickelodeon, so I'm not sure if the same creative team is coming back. So if they can capture that feel of the first movie, I'm not saying this will be like bad. I'm not writing this off. But that first, like I just said, that first movie is really special. So it's going to be hard to capture that same feel. And there's a little like synopsis under the tweet for this, but I wasn't sure where they got this from, but I'm just going to read it out. The Turtles will be challenged like never before as Leo, Raph, Donnie, and Mikey each go. I think it's supposed to say at it. Each go at it alone for the first time, faced with new threats and teaming up with old allies. The turtles will discover who they really are when they don't have their brothers at their sides. If this is like kind of like the synopsis, it seems like a cool little project, I guess, like a cool kids show. Again, I'm really looking forward to the second movie. It's I was gonna there's a great post credit scene that hints where the second movie's going, so I'm not gonna spoil that. But it has me really excited, especially see that character in that art style and just everything that comes with that character. I'm just trying to like not dance around that. I'm just not gonna check this out because I did really like the first movie. So I'll see what it's talking about. I'll see what it's talking about. But yeah, not expecting anything close to the first movie. So I'm looking forward to this with tapered expectations. I think that's the best way I should put it. So the next piece of news, not news, there's a trailer, and I actually forgot to include this last week. It's Dragon Ball Dama or something. Let me pull it up. But basically, it's Dragon Ball Super's version of GT. The cast gets not just Goku, but the cast gets transformed into little kids. So let me watch this trailer really quick because I didn't. It's fucking 3 minutes. I low-key do not want to watch this because I don't know, bro. Super. I'll watch it. I'll give it a fair shake. Okay. Well, that was definitely a trailer. Yeah, I can see why this didn't really get talked about a whole bunch. I'm trying to be like optimistic. Like I just don't want to be overwhelmingly negative because that is a lot of the Dragon Ball fan base with the newer stuff. I mean, I feel I'm kind of in the same boat, but again, so basically, let me just get into the trailer. In Dragon Ball GT. Okay, what was cool? They did like a history of Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball in general, just throughout the years of the shows releasing. That was cool at the start. But basically, GT is, I think, Lord Pilaf. Yeah, he wished for Goku to be a kid, something like that. But it's kid Goku, it's adult Goku transformed into a kid. And this is kind of like, but GT isn't canon. Basically, it's not a part of the main Dragon Ball Z story. So it goes Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. And before Super came out, and it's still GT wasn't canon. It was Dragon Ball. It went Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and then Dragon Ball GT. And then Dragon Ball Super is like is the future, is after Dragon Ball Z, but just like an alternate timeline. Not alternate. It's the main timeline, but they're basically two different continuations of Dragon Ball Z. That's what I'm trying to say. I just made that super confusing for no reason. But yeah, so Dragon Ball, I don't know how to pronounce it. Daima. All the characters that I seen, Hercule, all the Z fighters, Bulma, Chi-Chi, Krillin, Roshi, Vegeta, Goku. I'm not sure about Goten and Gohan, and Goten and Trunks are kind of young, but yeah, Trunks didn't get. Oh wait, no, I seen him as a baby, so maybe they get transformed like into babies. But yeah, so they get transformed into kids, and there seemed to be like someone like watching the events of Dragon Ball, like the history of it from some that like the sticks like of the angels and stuff. But I will say this, at the very least, it looks cute. Like it looks like a nice fun time, I guess. And if that's what all you look for, Dragon Ball Z is a fun time, then you'll probably like this. But I'll check it out the first few episodes or whatever, or just see what the vibe is. But yeah, I'm not super excited for this. But I did forget about it last week. I did talk about trailers last week and I forgot to talk about it. And I released a video about GT, which is funny. I said Super Saiyan 4 should be canon. Go check the video out at DS2 Smooth. It's doing really well, actually. I think it has to do with the thumbnail. Yeah, so I basically just got to work on my thumbnails more. It's just hitting the algorithm really well, so I'm proud of that video. It's not super long, so yeah, that's that on that. Back to the rest of the news. So to kick off the Marvel news, before we get into like all that stuff about the Marvel, that book I was talking about that made public a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, so Deadpool 3 is delayed because the studios aren't treating their actors correctly still. So yeah, this was inevitable. Deadpool was having with the writer strike and the actor strike, they were having some complications. Obviously, there was like conflicting reports. They said they were like done filming and they weren't, and then yeah, some other stuff. But yeah, this was inevitable because I'm saying this because they were back on track because the writer strike was over, and so they were able to. I don't know, but yeah, this is not. I brought this up because there just seem a lot of developing problems with Deadpool 3. Not it doesn't seem like any of their own fault or executive interference or anything, but it's just kind of troubling to hear. And it'd just be kind of ironic if the Deadpool and Wolverine like team up. They didn't really team up in Origins, but they were in the same movie. But them having a bad movie again, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in the same movie as the same characters having another bad movie, that would be pretty ironic. And I really, really don't want that to happen. So hopefully the development like interrupts in problems that they had doesn't affect the film too much in like in a negative way story wise. And so I just fingers crossed this movie's good because Hugh Jackman like with Deadpool is cool, just but him possibly interacting with some of like other Marvel characters from different universes. Say what you will. Oh, they're just remember berries. Oh, look at this on screen. We've seen this before. Like just stuff to turn your brain off to. But yeah, sometimes it is stuff to turn your brain off to, and that's okay. Like I'm just excited about that. So, just hope the filming on that just gets sorted. But so yeah, on to a bunch of the Marvel like leaks, and I wouldn't even say leaks because these are just put out in a book. And this book, so it's called MCU: The Reign of Marvel Studios, and it's just I gotta look more into it, but from what I skimmed, it's just like a book, a bunch of interviews and stuff with a bunch of different people. So they're just quote unquote exposing a lot of unknown news from before. But we'll start it off. So Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire reportedly didn't sign on to Spider-Man No Way Home, the third MCU Spider-Man movie, until 2 months into filming. And I brought that up because that is crazy. Because like the whole like second half of the movie damn near like depends on them. Like they're a big emotional factor in that whole last of the movie. So if they didn't 2 months into filming, that's again I'm still like learning the whole filming process. It usually takes like from the averages I hear is like 6 months to like a year. Like filming a movie, it could take longer, it could be shorter, but that's 6 months is like what I hear averagely gets like is for filming. So 2 months of that 6 is a pretty good way into filming, and not having two of your titular stars locked in until 2 months is crazy. Just so what were they gonna do if they didn't get them to sign on? And I wonder how different would that movie be? And that kind of speaks to the whole development of the movie and this for me, because I was just so close to this, like as in like as just personal like enjoyment feelings wise, just like Spider-Man is my favorite hero, getting the old cast back, like it was just I was very close to this. So it took me a while to really see this movie's flaws, but it is kind of a messy movie, and I think them not signing on 2 months into filming kind of speaks into why that is. Just like fucking Sandman and Lizard are you're reusing Sandman and footage in his old lines from Spider-Man 3. He's not even Hayden Churchill. The guy who plays Sandman 3 isn't even in the movie. Like he's digitally inserted. Like he's a Sandman the whole time. And the Lizard barely in the movie, and it kind of like I don't know, it just compromises the story and the feeling of the movie because it feels noticeable. And there are more examples. There are people who point this stuff out better than I'm doing and see sometimes, because like I said, I was really close to this and it was hard to like see its flaws, and that happens sometimes. But yeah, you could really feel that in the movie though. So the next bit of Spider-Man news with this book is there was a canceled Sinister Six movie, and that was previously known. There was like back in 2014, I think it was, there was a bunch of Sony leaks. Like their emails and stuff got leaks, and there was a bunch of stuff that came out, like a bunch of stuff. You can look into that if you're interested in it. But yeah, there's a Sinister Six movie, and they canceled it. But I guess in that Sinister Six movie, Spider-Man was gonna be riding a fucking T-Rex in the Savage Land. Let me go to it. Let me read this thing though, because it's kind of like crazy. Okay, Let me set the stage. Fuck, I really hope I'm not like banging my mic cord and it's picking up a lot, because just the way it is. We'll see. All right. The book revealed by the end of 2014, Drew Goddard had a draft that took Spider-Man and his villains to the Savage Land, where Spider-Man would ride a T-Rex. While it was previously known that the Savage Land featured in the film, no one knew it would have included a scene with Peter Parker, the boy from Queens, riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The proposed Sinister Six film would have also involved breaches in the space-time continuum and had sequences in Paris, London, and the aforementioned Savage Land. According to the emails leaked during the 2014 Sony Pictures hack, the Sinister lineup would have included Dr. Octopus, the Vulture, Sandman, Mysterio, the Black Cat, and possibly Spider-Man himself. Matt Damon and Matthew McConaughey were considered for Doc Ock, while Goddard wanted Tom Hardy as Sandman, who would have rampaged through the skyscrapers in London. Sony also wanted to have parts for actors like Idris Elba, Frances McDormand, Bryan Cranston, and Jackie Chan. But who exactly would everyone be up against? A little unknown alien monster named Gog, who Doc Ock would be looking for to free from a parallel dimension to recruit him into his Sinister Six. And so then it goes on to say, like, they don't know who the Spider-Man would have been if this was moving along, because this was right around when I think Amazing Spider-Man came out, and that wasn't really well received. And so, yeah, that's just kind of crazy. I made a video talking shit about Sony's live action superhero movies, because they're fucking ass. But I don't know. This seemed like really fun. They're just poorly well made and just are so. I don't want to. There's people who did work hard on them, but I'm just saying the overall structure and the story and the direction of them are just so low effort. It's just, you watch that video and I go into more detail, and I didn't even still explain everything I had wrong with that universe. Maybe this point will come back up, but it's just so low effort. But I recognize that, some movies are just meant to have fun. And fucking the first Venom movie, like, touched a billion or was close to a billion. So obviously people are enjoying these movies to some degree. So, let people have fun. And this seems like a fun time. Would it have been good? Maybe not, but it seems like, shoot, if you're trying to get Matt Damon, Matthew McConaughey, and Tom Hardy as fucking Tom Hardy's Venom, but if you're going for these actors, I feel like you definitely need a solid story. But hey, Matt Smith was in Morbius, so it happens sometimes. It happens. So yeah, this was just like very interesting, and they're starting to do it a little bit more in the MCU. But I just want to visit more locations, like the Savage Land. Fucking cool. Like, let's go to the fucking negative zone. Let's go to some more different locations and locales, and get new set pieces that aren't just in the fucking 12th grade city or whatever like that. Let's get some vibrant, some different stuff. So the Savage Land idea, and then the team. It says the team's cool. Doc Ock, the Vulture, Sandman, Mysterio, the Black Cat. I don't know if she's ever been on the Sinister Six before, but I've never really seen her in any lineups that I've seen. So that's a cool addition. Then possibly Spider-Man himself. Okay, I'm not sure how that goes into it, but the part I was kind of confused about, though, is it says who they were up against is unknown alien monster named Gog. I don't know if that's a comic character or what, but it says who Doc Ock would be looking to free from a parallel dimension to recruit him to the Sinister Six. But it says, but who exactly would everyone be going up against? And it says a little unknown alien monster named Gog, who Doc Ock would be looking to free from a parallel dimension to recruit him in the Sinister Six. So are they going to be fighting him, or are they trying to save him? Like, I'm confused on how that was written, or I'm just stupid. So, but yeah, that's a little confusing. But fucking Bryan Cranston, who's it? Frances McDormand. That name's definitely. I'm better with faces than name. So, and then that name sounds very familiar. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a lady. I thought this was a man. I definitely have seen her face before. What is she in? Because she looks very familiar. What is she in? Madagascar 3. That's cool. There's a bunch of stuff and nothing that I've really seen, but she looks really familiar. So what is she? Has to be in something I've seen. Interesting. Well, yeah. So She was a part of that. I don't even know. Oh yeah, talking about the actors. Yeah, so Idris Elba, who would he play? Let me. I was trying to think of Spider-Man. It doesn't necessarily have to be a villain, I guess, but a Spider-Man character for Idris Elba. I don't really know. Maybe like a tombstone or something. Not sure. Bryan Cranston. He's pretty versatile. Definitely could slot him in anywhere. Jackie Chan is interesting as one as well, because who would he play? I feel like you're a little uh, more limited with him, so I would wonder how would they slot him in. That was just very interesting, like what could have been. And okay, so this also came from the book. This last little thing that I've picked up, there's probably more stuff. The book came out October 10th, so I'm wondering why this stuff is just now hitting the news cycle, or like, so I figured this would be news when the book first came out. It's what, the 22nd now, so that's 12 days, almost 2 weeks ago. So maybe people are just now like really reading it. I'm not sure. So I say this because I swear I heard like something about this book when it first came out, and there was a piece of news like this that was, quote unquote exposed like this, and so I just figured that, you know, they would the information in this book would have been out a lot sooner. But anyways, so there has been the Marvel announced the Fantastic Four a while ago, and there has been like literally no developments on it, like no cast announcements, no like anything like that. And I think the only really thing is like getting a director, but there's a reason for that. And so Marvel was forced by Disney to announce the Fantastic Four and Armor Wars for Disney's Investor Day when the projects were nowhere near ready. Also, Kathleen Kennedy was also reportedly pressured to do the same thing for Star Wars. And this comes from that book. And this makes sense why Armor Wars was so like shifting around, and why we haven't got any updates on Fantastic Four, because I'm trying to figure out remember what my thoughts were. It's the corporate stuff. It's like, damn, these corporate fucks are so like, they need something so bad that they have to. It's I guess that's they are greedy, but what's interesting about this is just how much like power how much power they have, but they can force their creators and creatives to announce something that is just nowhere near ready, and it ends up shooting you in the foot down the line. So it's just like, I'm just trying to understand the short-term gain, because now if the Fantastic Four wasn't even announced, no one would be pressuring them to, where's the casting? Like, where's updates? Just pestering people about it. Like, if this wasn't even announced, like, no one would even know it's on the horizon. And I get it, like, you want people to be excited about stuff, but if they're not close, then don't say anything. And same for Star Wars. And okay, so this is mainly interesting for Star Wars. On the Marvel side, you get it, like no Fantastic Four updates and Armor Wars getting shifted around and them not really knowing what to do. But on the Star Wars side, it's a little bit more interesting, because it's not specifically, this is reportedly, so it's not said what Kathleen Kennedy was pressured to announce. But that kind of makes me, and the only thing I've really heard of, and I could be just haven't heard of the other things, but was the next movie. And they've got stuff for the shows, like their Mandalorian crossovers, whatever. But for the next like big movie, and it was reportedly supposed to be about Rey a couple years like later. I'm not sure about how long the time skip, but and she's like rebuilding the Jedi Order, which, I mean, I would like to move on from this like section of Star Wars and just go either like super in the future or super in the past. But so I'm not like it's Star Wars. I love Star Wars, so I'll definitely check it out, see what it's hidden for. But yeah, it's just so yeah, that's what I was wondering, was that movie being announced kind of the pressured one. So is that like not necessarily the direction that they're taking for the movie? So again, I'm not like saying I don't want a Rey movie, but I don't know. She's a fine character. Like the people around her are much more interesting in my opinion, like Finn, Poe, Kylo. So I would rather get something with one of those characters, but yeah, Rey's fine, I guess. I just don't really like her arc. I feel like her arc would have hit so much fucking harder if she owned the Palpatine name at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, when she was like, oh, what's your name? Oh, Rey Skywalker. If she would have said Rey Palpatine, that would have hit so fucking hard just because like the Palpatine name has been associated with evil for like so like long since Star Wars like conception or I don't know if Palpatine is necessarily obviously Darth Sidious is, but I don't know if Palpatine is in the OG trilogy. But he's just the Palpatine name has just been associated with evil for so long. So for her to like accept that and own that would have hit so much harder than her fucking taking the Skywalker name with from fucking barely even knowing them. So I don't know. And I guess you could say the same thing about the Palpatine name. Like she barely knew she was a Palpatine, but that's who she is, and that would have been cool to see her own that. There's a lot of people with some strong feelings towards Rey being a Skywalker, I guess. And I guess I kind of have the same sentiment, but I mean, I'm just more lax about it, I guess. Like who I don't like I care, but I don't care. Like, oh well, that's something they decided to do. So cool. Cool, I guess. But yeah, I would much rather her have her embrace that spider. Not. I was reading something, the next piece of news, but embrace that Palpatine name. But the next piece of news is spider related. It's So there's been there's a short film called The Spider Within, which is set in the Spiderverse universe, and it was released at like a film festival or something, and there really hasn't been talks about it like releasing publicly. I'm sure it will at some point, or someone's gonna like leak it. But basically, it's Miles. Let me go to my notes. It's about Miles having and overcoming an intense anxiety induced panic attack, and like it manifests in like some weird ways. Not anything to do with his powers, maybe, but I'm saying like weird like mental ways, like. And so someone tweeted, "Here's a look at the spider within a short film set in the Spider-Verse." And it's like this creepy pic. So I don't know if this is real. And again, we've gotten so little news about this. So, and I'll just explain the picture. It's like Miles in his room, and there's this like lanky silhouette. It looks like a version of him. It is like this lanky silhouette with just white eyes, like standing at the edge of his bed, and it just looks like a paralysis demon type vibe. Like some shit you see like and you can't move or whatever. I don't know if that's ever happened to anyone listening to this, but I've definitely heard that. So it looks like him. It looks like he has the silhouette has like his hair, and it looks like it has like long ass like salad fingers, like long ass fingers. It looks like a demon type entity, and if I don't think I don't think it's real. It's like in fucking 240p. The quality is terrible, but if it is real, that's a really cool look, and I want this to release. And so that was like the little news, and I want to see that. Like I want to see Miles overcome a panic attack, an anxiety induced panic attack, and how he deals with that and how that manifests. Like that sounds interesting. And it's very human for a hero, which we don't get a lot of the time, and so it would be a good insight and look into that. But yeah, that's pretty much it on the movie side of news and like the shows and stuff. But so let's move on to some gaming news before I kick off to the main gaming stuff, which is my Spider-Man first impressions. So EA is developing an Iron Man game, and I am so excited for this because I don't know if this is the same team. Motive. Let's see. It's I think it's a studio within EA called Motive. Let me see what they made. So they did the Dead Space remake. I don't know if they were behind the original Dead Space. So they did the solo campaign for Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I like, and they were the lead developer on Star Wars Squadrons. I heard some decent things about that. And so the Dead Space remake, and I think that's really they have under their belt so far. So what I was initially, so I kind of like took the wind out of my sails a little bit because this was being made by EA, and I think BioWare did it, but EA, whoever did it, they put out a game called Anthem, and it was like it was super hated, and just deservingly so. I think it had like a bunch of microtransactions and shit. It's basically like these like Iron Man suit mechs, and you're like flying around like different planets. You can go like underwater and shit. And it's like, but the flying mechanic in that game, oh my god, it literally felt like an Iron Man simulator. I'm not even joking. The flying in that game is so like Iron Man like, and it was just when I heard EA was doing this, I connected that to Anthem. I was so pumped, but it seemed to be made by Motive, and so I'm still very interested. But that took, like I said, took a little win on my sales. But very interested to see what they do with the Iron Man IP, because there was a Iron Man game back on the PS3. I don't know if it was the first Iron Man. I'm pretty sure it was because I remember the silver suit. But this was really fun Iron Man game I used to play on the PS3, and I've always ever since then I've wanted an Iron Man game, and we really haven't gotten anything since then. And I feel like you could do some really cool gameplay stuff with Iron Man, either like story wise, RPG. Like I feel like the character really lends itself to that RPG formula with like the suits and stuff. I feel like you could definitely do something fun with that. Even if it's not RPG, you could definitely do some third person great set pieces, or Uncharted type vibes with Iron Man. I know, like, oh, can we get some more variety with superhero games? Like, they don't all have to be third person, like cinematic stuff, yada yada yada. I get that sentiment, and yeah, it's cool, but I feel like the third person, like that formula, lends itself the best to the superhero genre, because like these are power fantasies, like, and that's the only way to really, and you can do some cool first person stuff, but I feel like that's the only way that you could really get that power fantasy feeling is with that third person open world formula, or not even necessarily open world, but still like that over the shoulder type vibe. But I'm still excited for this. It says it's being developed in Unreal Engine 5. That doesn't really shake my tree or anything. I just came up with that on the spot. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it just doesn't really get me excited, because yeah, I'm not really into like what engines games are run on or whatever. But yeah, this is something I'm still looking out for. I kind of just shot myself in the foot with finding out who's making it, but still, I'm interested nonetheless. So we have some a new Assassin's Creed game called Codename Red, set in Japan, rumored to have a female protagonist. And the rumor that it has a female protagonist was because like someone's working on the game, like maybe like one of the leads or something. He updated his LinkedIn profile, and it was it was like a banner of like a woman, and with like I think the logo for fuck what I'm trying to say, for Assassin's Creed Red. And so people are speculating that that's the main character. But yeah, I brought this up because I'm a huge fan of the older Assassin's Creeds. The newer ones, not so much. They really went to the RPG aspect, and I don't fuck with that really at all. I said this I think last week. They're not bad games, but they're just not Assassin's Creed games. But it seems like Mirage, the newest installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise, has not definitely, but I've heard that it kind of is a return to form a little bit. It still has those RPG elements, which I'm not a huge fan of. Again, it's not a bad game. It's just I don't want that in my Assassin's Creed. So, but basically, everyone's been asking for Assassin's Creed. Literally, is a perfect like premise for ninjas, and like, so we just been wanting the series to go to Japan for so long. They just have never done it, and it was just so confusing about that. And what scratched that itch was Ghost of Tsushima, that release was a PS5 or PlayStation exclusive. That's like Assassin's Creed like, and it's in Japan. So honestly, that scratched my itch. If this was the old Assassin's Creed games and we were getting this, I would be pumped as fuck. But it's the newer ones, and again, I said like Mirage, the newest one, Assassin's Creed game, is like they kind of say it does justice to the older games, but it still has those RP elements. So it's like I'll look out for this, but again, I probably won't be checking it out unless it's just super crazy, because like I just said, that Assassin's Creed Japan itch was scratched by Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm sorry, Ubisoft, you're just a little too late on that one. You should have listened to the fucking fans and not fucking they didn't ruin. All right, let's get off of this. They didn't ruin the series, but it's just not for my taste. The last bit of news before I get into Spider-Man first impressions is Kick is sponsoring UFC 294. I'm not into the UFC at all. I don't know if that is a weight class or if that is like the 294th event or something. But I brought this up because I've been thinking about streaming, and I don't think this matters like when you're starting out, because I don't think you're locked in. But like where to start? The Twitch contracts, it just seems like Kick gives a lot more to its creators. And so the Twitch contracts don't seem as incentivizing. But then I was like, well, I don't want to start on Kick and them get like shut down, because they're relatively new, and there was a Mixer or some shit. There was like another streaming platform that tried to take off, and they signed like Ninja and shit. It was like a really big deal. And like, oh, the Twitch killer, and that shit fell to the wayside. And it's like building an audience on one platform, and then for it to shut down, and then you got to move that audience to another, and you just don't want to. I just want to don't want to do that and like lose, and lose the community or whatever. So that's why I brought this up, and then also like started on quick Kick. They don't have like as much moderation, so I even don't use Kick. But whenever I see like Kick clips, I just see like the chat just spanning the most like deplorable, like racist, transphobic just stuff, like saying like slurs and stuff. And I don't really want to deal with that, to be honest. So yeah, it was just interesting to see, because yeah, and just in the gaming space, and if Kick does succeed and is here for the long term, how does that look like for Twitch? Like, because there is other Twitch or streaming platforms. YouTube is probably the next biggest one, and Facebook gaming as well. But I'm pretty sure Twitch is the biggest, and just how to see how that competition really looks for the gaming space and the streaming space and everything, because Kick is signing a lot of big streamers and stuff. They got who did they just get? They got somebody. Not Nick Merckx. What's his name? Nick Merckx, no. It's the guy Markiplier. I'm pretty sure they just signed Markiplier, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look that up real quick so I don't sound dumb. I don't think it was Markiplier. It was somebody. Bro, someone. Was it Nick Merckx? It might have been Nick Merckx. I think it was Nick Merckx. Okay, yeah, it was Nick Merckx actually. So yeah, you got signed to Kick, and then you got your Rage, you got Bruce, some other people. XQC was like literally one of the biggest Twitch streamers. So how does this look competition wise? It seems like they're getting a lot of big streamers. And I know recently, I don't watch his streams a whole lot, but Moist Critical, I've been noticing he's been streaming on YouTube a lot. So I don't know if his Twitch contract is still what's going on with that, but he could be a possible person that goes to Kick. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna speak on it because I don't know if he's spoken on negatively against Kick in the past, because I know Kick didn't start out great, so it definitely warranted some criticisms early on. It probably still does, but I'm not like super into the streaming space. But that was just interesting just to see what that means for gaming in general in the streaming community. But now on to the Spider-Man first impressions. Like I said, I'll be reviewing this game once I like finish the story and do all the side stuff and everything. There will be no Spider-Man spoilers, and if there probably will be Spider-Man story spoilers, but I'll keep it spoiler free and like talk about the other stuff first, like the gameplay and just the world and everything. And when I do get into spoilers, I'll let you know. But I just wanted to get my first impressions because I'm really, really enjoying the game. I have my problems with it, but for the most part, it's really fun so far. I have it pulled up right in front of me. This is my first time really talking about a game, and so this might be a little messy. I was trying to figure out what specific things to like how to break it down and everything. So I'll get better as I go along, but hopefully I still hit all the points that I want to talk about. And so I would say that if you're not a fan of the not the original, but the first two games, like gameplay loop and like the open world and everything like that, then you're probably not going to be a fan of this game. It's a sequel. There's definitely added things that make it better, but overall, it's not a complete overhaul of all the systems and the feeling of the first two games. So if you're not really a fan of those, then you won't be really a fan of this. But if you are a fan of those, brother, this game is just to a whole new level. I'm trying to see where I want to tackle this. Let me just go with like the swinging aspects, because my gripes really I think come from the combat aspects, but the swinging and like the new additions to that. So I really, really like the swinging. You just feel the momentum, and this has probably been a point that's been said a lot when this game's talked about, but you just feel the speed, that need for speed, bro. You feel that. You feel it. Like when you slingshot yourself off a fucking building at 100 miles per hour, and you go into your web wings, bro, and you feel that like speed of it, and it just feels so good. And Insomniac did such a good job at pushing the PlayStation 5 to its technical, its peak technical capabilities, and you feel that, bro. Actually, huh, hold on. Let me cuz I have it pulled up, so I'm gonna swing real quick. I'm just gonna swing around and just oh, that's what the swing. I'm glad I have this pulled up. The swinging assistant. So the first, hold on. I think there's noise coming from my controller. So let me, I think that's good. Yeah, all right. So I muted my controller. But yeah, so there's like, I'm playing as I'm talking about this. So if I seem a little distracted, I'll probably stop if I get too distracted. But god damn, I'm just swinging around right now and I'm just loving it. But so there's a swinging assistance in the first game, and Miles Morales as well. There's a very like strong magnetic barrier that keeps you from hitting the ground, and you don't have to worry about where you swing. Meaning if I what's it called? If I attach my web to this building to the right, it's not gonna pull me to the right. It's gonna keep pulling me straight. But if so, the swinging assistance is automatically set to 10, which is the previous games. If you set that to 0 or 1, or even like lower, you get that pull. So if my web attaches to a building to the left, it's gonna pull me to the left. If it attaches to a building to the right, it's gonna pull me to the right. So it's very physics based. Not super physics based, but it's more physics based than it was in the previous games, and I really like that a lot. Currently I play on swinging assistance 1. I feel like it's a great just middle ground to that. I'm unlocking shit right now. I'm trying to keep this my gameplay, like all stuff I record and stuff, and so I'm like kind of I'm just swinging around, but stuff is getting unlocked, and I'm not liking that. I want to save that for the gameplay. But what I was saying, it's a nice middle ground from just that 0 and just smacking the ground constantly. You can get better with it and everything, and if you do take out the time to get better, you're a dog for that, for sure. But one, it provides a good like middle ground between that magnetic barrier, and it lets you hit the ground if you are super close, but it's not like super realistic, and I feel like it's a good, like I fucking said, a good goddamn middle ground. So that's that on the swinging. I'm just trying to see what else, if I have anything else I want to say about the swinging. Oh, the new, like, I haven't unlocked them all. I'm only, oh, I should have said this earlier, but I'm only like 3 hours in, maybe 3.5 hours in. So I'm not like super far in. So I don't have a bunch of the swinging moves unlocked, but there's a whole swinging skill tree, and there's just a lot of new additions to swinging. And I like I just fucking said, I didn't unlock them all, but there's like a loop-de-loop. So I had to do that, the intro, the no spoilers. But yeah, there's a whole lot of new moves. Like there's this loop-de-loop move. If you get enough momentum when you're diving, you can swing out your web, hold on to it, and Spider-Man will swing a god. I was just doing the move, and then I was swinging around, and again, having it turn to 1, it's more physics based, and so you kind of, with the loop-de-loop, the perspective of the camera is kind of, it changes a little bit, so you have to see where you land and not smack the fucking building like next to you. And so I was swinging and I smacked the building next to me and I died. But yeah, so it's like the new moves like that, and I'm there's like this, I don't want to go through every single move, but there's this nice handbrake web move that I need to get more of the hang of. But if you hold circle, you'll while you're swinging, make a hard turn, and you can like hold circle and determine how long you are making that turn. So if you want to hold that turn and hold it into smack into the building to like stick on it or whatever, if you want to hold it to get like a quick momentum boost, you can. And there's just a lot of mix up, and I'll talk about this with the combat as well. There's just a lot of mix ups you could do with the swinging to make this shit really appealing, really. And obviously you could do the simple shit to make you get from place to place, and you'll get there just fine. But if you really want to spice it up, it gives you those options, which I really like a lot. That's probably it on the swinging. Oh, the swinging just feels night and day from Miles Morales. Just like, it just feels a lot more refined and polished. Hold on, let me look up how to do this fucking move, this circle like swing move that I just said, cause it's kind of hard to use a little bit. Where's the loop-de-loop? Oh, okay. That's where I was fucking up with the move. I was trying to get the hang of it, and I was just pressing circle while I was swinging, but you gotta press it in the direction of the building you wanna do it to. So that obviously makes sense, and I was just being stupid on why I wasn't doing the move correctly. With swinging, oh, the last thing before I get onto the web wings, there's fall. So they in the previous Spider-Man games, you could there was fall damage, like an Ultimate Spider-Man. You could like fall from it's self-explanatory fall damage. I don't really gotta really explain it. If you fall from a great height, you take some damage, and that was missing from the previous two Spider-Man games on the PlayStation 4 and PS5. You couldn't. There was no fall damage. Like it was fall, and you'll just like do a superhero landing and crack the ground. Oh, I could switch to Peter. Oh, anytime. I didn't know that. I was trying to figure out how to switch to Peter when I was playing this earlier, but you have to pull up the friend app. I'm gonna switch to Peter right now. Let me see what this transition. Oh, he was just chilling. So it switched to Peter. He was just like chilling. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. So the main story mission has to do with like Peter right now. Fuck, there's some story dialogue going in, so I wasn't trying to. Let me see what they're saying real quick. Okay, yes, there's some dialogue. So the main mission right now it has to do with like Peter, with what he's got going on, and it lets me go there as Miles, but it has like a little uh, uh, Peter's Parker's his icon next to it, meaning like it's his mission. And so yeah, so that's I think that's on the swinging. I hope I finished my thoughts on that because I'm about to go over to the web wings right now. I'm about to slingshot myself. And speaking of the web wings, oh my gosh, bro, they're such a good addition. It just makes traversal so much more like fun and not hard hitting, but just so much more fun, and it just adds a new gimmick. And the way you just seamlessly snap out of swinging, going to the web wings, and vice versa is just so fucking smooth. I love it, and they look fucking great too. It just adds. I'm trying to not repeat myself, but I just love the way that it adds an extra layer to the traversal, and it really makes it. It really speaks to that momentum feeling as well. You really feel like when you do that loop-de-loop I was talking about, and you get that insane momentum, and you let go of that web at the peak of the loop-de-loop, and you swing into the web wings, and then you take a web tunnel to carry you further and give you more of a speed boost, and then you're flying across the I don't know what river it is, but you're flying across the river to get to the next city or whatever. It just all meshes together with the buttery smooth web swing so well, bro. And there's just genuine moments while I was playing this game where I was just like, oh my fucking goodness. Like, I can't believe that I'm experiencing something like this. And this sounds like some nerd shit, bro, but I'm just like grateful to be alive during this time period and it's just only going to get better. So it's just like to experience gaming. Obviously I didn't experience when it was fucking pixels and it's at its most basic form, but I feel like I was just born on the cusp of like I was born in 2000, but I was just born on the cusp of cutting edge in the basics, you know? And that's just so fucking cool to me. And just the way that they are able to do this with the tech and push it to its limits and just do this great stuff is just so beautiful, bro. And that's what I think about the web wings. That was a lot to say that, but the web wings are a great addition, and I'm glad that they are as fun as they fucking look in the trailers. Let's see. So I got the swinging done. I'll talk about the graphics really quick. I'm gonna talk about the combat, but that's where most of my issues and stuff come up with. And again, not super serious issues, but I'll get into it. But yeah, the graphics, bro. Again, going along with the swinging, when I'm fucking deploying my web wings and I'm just flying over the city, I'm literally playing the game right now, just looking at the vast just openness of it. And just seeing that is just so beautiful. And I'm actually about to go right now, and I'm about to go to the Chrysler building? Yeah, let me go to the Chrysler building. Or it's just a very tall building in the distance. I'm just flying there, bro. Just using the web links, just getting there. And just seeing, I'll get into this. Oh, I wanted to talk about the fall damage a little bit. It's just, I did kind of touch on it, but it's just so fun. And just knowing that there is some, albeit maybe you do die from it, because I fucking I was saying I was doing the loop de loop and I smacked a building and I died from that. And so it's just fun knowing that there's some risk into what you're doing, albeit you're not dying off of like every little fall and stuff, but it's glad to know it's there, and it's even better you get to choose to turn it off if you oh so please. But yeah, back to the graphics though. Oh my gosh, I just did a point launch where you just loop de looped in just the ray tracing. Let me just the reflect. I'm climbing this glass ass building right now, and just to see your reflection, that's cool in itself. But the texture of the glass that I'm looking at, it's like this smudgy texture, and there's reflective, like way more reflective glass, but it just this the different textures and stuff is so cool. And let me get to the top of this building so I can gush about the visuals from the highest point. So I can see the Empire State Building. Can I go? Not the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty. I can't go to the Statue of Liberty. Okay, that's kind of ass. Oh wait, no, that's a different island. What island is that? Can I go to the Statue of Liberty? Sorry, no. So is it this island? Yeah, I can't go to the Statue of Liberty. That's ass. But I'm just looking over the city right now, and it's just so vast in the detail. And I've seen definitely some. I think this goes in with the graphics and stuff. And I guess I'll loop this in with the open world. There's been videos of assets of different buildings. Like if you look in the interiors of some buildings, like each in there's like multiple rooms in the building that you could see into. The furniture and stuff will be like copy and pasted from room to room. It's like little stuff like that. And I guess there's definitely something to speak to there. But I mean, you're swinging around the city. Like, how often are you worried about interiors, looking inside of interiors, and like people were nitpicking the garbage cans and the garbage inside the cans and how they are super like not super realistic, and they look like super blocky and whatever and stuff. But who fucking cares, bro? I am swinging at high speeds. The city's loading and fine. That's all you need to worry about. And I know those people are just like nitpicking at stuff and probably just trying to incite console fan wars or console wars, which are dumb in itself. But I don't know. The graphics is just so they're great. It's a step up. Sometimes I do feel like they are kind of similar to the remastered and not like a huge improvement. But overall, though, it's definitely good improvement. The open world. And speaking of, the vibrantness of flying through the city, it's a lot more dense as well. Like there's a lot more hustle and bustle in the street, a lot more cars, a lot more pedestrians, and just flying past that, it's so cool because it just makes it feel more alive, and it gives it that hustle and bustle of the world, and you get that chaotic energy of the streets of New York. Like that's a great feeling to fly, use my web wings soaring and flying over cars and flying over populated freeways and seeing a bunch of people walk on the streets and stuff. That's cool to see. And so I'm really just glad on that. The open world, the crimes and stuff, that was a big thing. Again, I'm only like 3 hours in. I haven't done like a ton of side stuff. And the crimes were something I really felt like were lacking in the last two games. Like it's either you're just breaking in, you're stopping a robbery, like someone breaking in somewhere, you're like stopping a car chase or something like that. There wasn't a lot of variety. And for me, I just wanted variety of crimes, like saving people from fires, like just doing different stuff. And I've been experiencing some different things, but it kind of felt more like the same stuff, more or less. Stopping people from breaking into places and stuff and whatnot. But But there has been some variety though. Like I had to like stop a propane truck from blowing up, so I had to web up the sides of it, man. So there's some variety. Again, it's something I've experienced more to fully say. But I brought that up because that's just one main point of improvement that I wanted to see from. What else about the open world? Oh, the collectibles and whatnot. I haven't unlocked all the collectibles, not meaning like I haven't done them, but like everything that's going to show up on the map yet. So I'm not entirely sure what's going to currently be there right now. I only have the Marco's memories and the Prowler safe houses stashes, and I've definitely seen some more stuff on them on other people's maps and in the open world. So I know there's more stuff to come. So the Marco's memories are cool. I'm not gonna like get into like what that entails, but I like how um so that's I guess that goes into combat. So I'll just leave that for there. But what I have so far is fine, I guess. I mean, there's some side mission stuff that I haven't checked out yet that I'll get to. Um yeah, I really can't speak on the open world a whole lot yet, besides like the the surface level things. I haven't unlocked everything and played a whole lot yet. So I guess that's all I really have to say about the open world. So I'll just get into I'll save the story for last because I'll probably there's not a whole lot to spoil where I'm at right now, but I want to talk about it a little bit. So the combat. So this is where like kind of like my problems come from. Let me jump off this building and oh my god, this fucking open road, man. Oh, this is so lovely. But like that momentum, bro. It feels like I am a speed demon. Let me find a crime though. So this is where my problems come though. So in the previous game, in the first game, you had very spider based tech. You obviously so you had like impact webs that like you have your standard webs, you shoot multiple at an enemy and then eventually it ties them up. But you have impact webs that will do that instantly. You just fire one, but you only get like 4 or 5. You fire one and it instantly like webs them and it sends them far. Like it can smack them against the wall and they'll get webs to the wall or something like that. And then you had like web bombs, and then you had trip mines where it's like a trip mine and then the guy walks past and he gets, webbed up. And then you have I'm trying to think of electric webs and stuff like that. And you did get your techie, super techie stuff. Like you had a fucking anti-gravity. Ooh. See, look, I'm stopping this crime right now and it's a fucking fire. I love it. Is it a fire though? Hold on, let me do this real quick. It's the first time there's people to fight. Oh shit, hold on. So you had very techie weapons, but you also had your standard Spider-Man stuff that that you get, right? And so it was easy to not use the tech stuff because there was other options. And so but the gadgets that they choose to use, bro, I'm just not a big fan. It's just super. So the gadgets I have now are a web tether that like you shoot it and it webs a bunch of people up to the same spot. And then it's fucking I don't even know what this is. It's a drone that like slingshot that like shoots out a what am I trying to say? It shoots out a fucking all right. So it's a drone that shoots out a like a shot, not like a shot, but a projectile that launches enemies up in the air. And that's not that's not really a Spider-Man thing. Like it's like a project like a energy projectile. So it's like it doesn't feel very Spider-Man-y. And the way they chose, and so this is the problem. The way they chose to do the gadgets and powers is weird. And this could just be me just playing the other games for so long and getting so used to those, and I have to get used to this. But in the other games, to actually access your gadgets, you hold R1, and there's a weapon reel that comes up, and you select that web type, and that's your gadget, and you click R1 to use that web, right? So if I use the weapon wheel, I select electric webs, I tap R1 and I shoot electric webs. If I choose impact web bombs, you get the picture. In this, it's like abilities. You hold R1 and you press square, triangle, circle, or X, and it does them. But it doesn't even say how. Oh wait. Oh shit, it does. I'm just very stupid. I was gonna say it doesn't show you how much you have, but the UI, and again, this is a problem I'll come up. But the UI is just so kind of small and out the way. You don't really pay attention to it. In the previous games, your gadget like numbers and stuff, and your your venom meter for Miles's electric abilities are near your health and your in the top of the screen, so you're paying attention to that all during combat. For me, it's just they're so out the way. It's hard for me to pay attention to, and the way the UI is to see what I have available, and then that goes into my problem with the venom abilities. And this, your venom abilities are still, and it was in the like this in the Miles Morales game. You hold L1, you press square, triangle, X, or circle, and you'll do a venom power, a venom punch, venom dash, venom slam, one of those things, right? And then, and this is the same, but instead of in the first Miles Morales game, there was meters that you use that you could use to use your venom powers, right? And it was by your health, like I was saying. And so you knew how much you had, or you look at your health, you look at that, boom. Uh, and this could also just again be something that I'm just not used to yet, and that's why like I haven't gotten the why it's tripping me up. But it takes they're on a recharge time instead of meters. And so I'll be in combat in a nice flow or whatever, and I'll be in a nice flow and I'll try to use a move and I don't have enough, like it hasn't done recharge. But the way that the UI is, it's just like you don't, like you're in heavy combat, like you're dodging shit, you're trying to not to get hit. It's hard to like just look down and see what's recharged or not. And I don't know, it's just really tripping me up. And it's my problem so far. I just don't like the placement of it, and I just don't like the recharge ability besides like, and not like your meter. It's not that big of a difference between a recharge and your meter because you're still recharging your meter, but just the way that it sets up and just the way the flow of combat and like the way you gain your meter in the Miles Morales game was just a lot smoother, and I just felt it didn't distract me from combat, and I feel like the abilities kind of do. And then also another problem that I have in games is when the character, you have abilities from the other games, but then your character in the next game forgets all those abilities and you have to unlock them again. And that is a big problem in this game. And there's ways to do it where it makes sense story wise, like, oh damn, they lost their ability, or the Jedi Survivor games did a really good job too. It was like he was like disconnected from the force or whatever in the first game, and so you didn't know how to do a lot of basic force abilities that you had to unlock. And even the second game, you had most of your abilities as well, and you unlocked new ones. There was some problems with that, but not as much as this. Like you have to unlock basic abilities, like the Venom punch and the Venom. Like I do that in the fucking previous game, and now I have to unlock that again. And then also Miles Morales, he was able to use his Venom abilities while he was swinging. So like while I'm swinging, I could do a Venom dash to give me more momentum, or I can do a Venom jump to give me more altitude. In this, I have to unlock those things again, and those are traversal unlocks. And it's just like, bro, like I just was able to do that. Like, why do I gotta do that shit again? And so that's just kind of annoying. And this is not something that makes or breaks a game for me. It's just something that is a pet peeve of mine. I was gonna loop this into something else. Oh, the skill trees. Let me look at those. The skill trees, I love progression. I love when you get me skill trees unlocked. Yeah, that's cool. But when it comes at the expense of unlocking abilities I had already had, that's when it gets annoying. And there's a little bit of that in the skill trees, and then there's some new stuff. And so the new stuff I really like, and I love like how many skill trees and stuff are there and stuff. And I feel like that was really lacking from the first game. Oh, in the combat, there's a new parry. Instead of you could dodge and stuff still, but you could parry and block attacks now. And I just don't really use that because I feel like dodging is a lot more just smooth and stuff. But maybe once I get like upgrades and stuff for the parry, I'll use it more. But it just doesn't really I don't really like it. So I'm not gonna say I don't like it, but I don't use it a whole lot. And then so like I was saying, how you hold L2 and L1 and you use Miles' abilities, his electric abilities. Peter has mechanical arms, and I'm pretty sure this will like, so you hold L1, you use square, triangle, circle, X to use different abilities. I'm sure he'll have the same type of abilities when he gets the symbiote. I haven't gotten to that symbiote part yet. And he has like mechanical arms, and I really don't like the abilities with the mechanical arms. Like there's one that like launches basically the stuff that Miles does, kind of. It was one that like launches people in the air, and then there's one that like a twirl attack. It is different from Miles a little bit, but they're just kind of whatever. And I'm not really pressed to use them, but I just kind of feel like I'm not using the gameplay to the best of its abilities if I don't use them. So that's definitely a little something. And so the combat, I feel like the things that they took away and the things that they critiqued or like reworked are kind of worse than the first games, but I think it adds enough new stuff to the combat to make it to make those changes, I guess, bearable and worth it. So it kind of like falls in the middle ground with the combat. I would have liked to just see like just strictly improvements, like kind of with the swinging. Like there's really no drawbacks I have with the swinging. It's just straight improvements. So I would have liked to see that with the combat, but it was just kind of give and take, and so it just kind of balanced it out, and it just what they added balanced it out what they took away, and so that's how I feel about the combat and the skill tree and everything. And as I go, maybe the skill tree will prove less needed, but I really like the abilities I'm unlocking so far, the traversal abilities and stuff. Yeah, so it's like gadgets. So there's web shooters, the upshot, that's the projectile thing, the web grabber that like brings all the enemies together, concussion burst, and ricochet web. So I haven't unlocked the concussion burst and ricochet web, but I'll probably only be using the web shooters, web grabber, and ricochet web. I'm saying that weird, ricochet web. Just those feel like the most Spider-Man powers. Yeah, let me talk about the suits. I haven't gotten a whole lot of suits so far, but oh shit, this is actually pretty good. The Brooklyn 299 suit, 2099 suit, I just unlocked it and it's pretty fucking fire. But right now I'm rocking the tracksuit, the black version. I like the original suit, but it has like this grayish like on some of the black, so it's not like purely black. But the original, just the black version of the tracksuit is just a nice, sleek, deep, rich black, and I'm just really liking it a lot. That's what I'm rocking for Miles, and then for Peter, I just have his advanced 2.0 suit, but black. I really had a hard time picking between the black and the classic like red and blue. Cause that red and blue just really pops, but I love the black on Spider-Man's costume. So yeah, I might fuck around and try to get this Brooklyn 299 suit for Miles. It's pretty dope, and I want to see the colors. What else colors it has on it? The pre-order suits are kind of pretty missed for me, but the encoded suit for Miles, I kind of said it in my video. I didn't really like it a whole lot, but it kind of grew on me. Yeah, statement still stands. It looks better in motion than it does even in the select screen. Let's see. Abilities, gadgets, skills. Yeah, they added like new abilities like for Miles. I haven't unlocked them all, but the chain lightning is like he shoots like a bolt of lightning. That's pretty cool. And you have like Peter's mechanical arms, again, not too pressed to use those. Yeah, so I'll speak more on the open world probably in my review or if I like something cool pops up. But definitely check out my videos on this on my YouTube channel, DS2 Smooth, and then I'll be posting like the full playthroughs with no stuff cut out and like all the side stuff, because I'll probably cut out most of the side stuff from my main channel. But the full playthrough will be on my main channel, like an hour plus videos on my second channel at DS2 Smooth Extended. So look out for that. But I'm still super early in the story, so there's really not a bunch of story stuff I have to talk about, if any, really. Like Venom hasn't shown up in the story yet. We've really barely gotten stuff with Kraven. The Lizard hasn't shown up yet. I've only done one boss fight. That was really cool. I guess I could talk about that a little bit. That first, oh yeah, I guess I can talk about that. So that first, the boss fight is against Sandman. I would say if you don't want to know anything with story-wise for spoilers for here on out, it's not going to be anything big. I'm just going to be talking about the first boss fight, and it doesn't really have anything to... It has something to do with the main plot, but again, nothing really has developed for me so far in the story, so there's not a ton, like, really heavy spoilers. So stick around if you want to, but if you don't want to know anything, definitely... This game is, I think, definitely... Is it worth a PS5? If you like Spider-Man, it's definitely worth the PS5. Or if you just like superhero games in general, or just like third-person games, it's definitely worth the PS5 for sure. And then with the PS5 that just released with the terabyte, and then to release with the terabyte and the smaller version, I think is definitely worth the cop Spider-Man on it. But yeah, so the first boss fight. So on the spoilers. So leave if you don't want to know anything. So the first boss fight is with Sandman, and the set piece of it is fucking cool. Like Miles getting thrown 30 fucking blocks from getting thrown from getting thrown by Sandman, and then swinging back and all the sand and stuff. And I guess that's where damn, I wish I would have mentioned this earlier, but enemy variety types. Already there is a good variety of enemies, and not just like thugs or military guys. Like there's like some cult stuff. There's like some people like I've encountered a couple times them like setting fire to like some buildings, and like they have like this cult gear. And then like there's Craven's guys, and then there's Sandman's people that you encounter in the first mission. You also encounter them in the open world. There's just I like the what's it called, the variety of enemies. And so from the big set piece of Miles getting thrown to finding his little mini Marcos. The thing I critique though, and I didn't there was gameplay with the lizard, like part of the lizard's boss battle, like with the health bar and everything, not just like you chasing him. And I didn't really watch that because I didn't want to like I wanted to didn't really want to be spoiled. Um, but the boss battles in the first game, there was a problem with them because they were kind of all the same. Like you just throw this thing at an enemy and then you hit them so many times. It's just very repetitive, and there was a lot more to be desired from the boss fights. And it just, in this I was hoping that this game kind of fixed it. And with Sandman, it was kind of more of that. Like I threw some stuff at him and I punched him and then I webbed him up and then I punched him again. And then, it was it was by the numbers of the first game. And I've definitely heard reports or like from people saying this, and like Insomniac saying they did improve their boss battles. So hopefully the future ones aren't strictly that and just that boring repetitive formula, and we get some variety, which I hope I'm optimistic that's the case, but I can't say for sure since I haven't gotten there yet. But yeah, so that first mission, it was very fun. I love the set piece of it. Just was lacking on the boss difficulty side of it, but I definitely liked fighting Sandman. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, so I definitely was lit. There was some like Martin Lee. Oh yeah, there was some like Martin Lee stuff and with Miles. Yeah, but I kind of, not that I don't remember, but I'd have to like think more hard about that. But and it really hasn't developed like anywhere that's really like worth talking about. But that's what I can say about the story. I really love all the character interactions so far, all the banter between the characters. All that feels like really genuine and really feels sweet. And just the relationship you have with Peter and Miles, and how you have like Peter working at Miles' school as a sub, and then some Spider-Man shit happens, and then both of them have to leave, and how they deal with that. It's just all so cute to watch, and just very cute banter. A minor, I'll get to that after, but so yeah, I haven't gotten a whole lot of stuff with Harry yet, and I'm pretty sure he's Venom. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he's Venom. Just overall, I'm really loving the game. I just can't wait to play more. I'm just gotta get this podcast done, gotta edit this, and then I gotta edit some of that Spider-Man video all the footage I just recorded, and I'm gonna try to play some on Monday, but gotta prioritize and make sure I get my other stuff done first and stay on schedule and whatnot. But really enjoying it so far. And if you have a PlayStation 5 and you were on the fence about this game forever for whatever reason, this is definitely worth it. Go check it out and everything. Oh, the little like gripe I had is I'm pretty sure Peter definitely has some updated movement with his swinging, but I think Miles like has the same tricks from the first movie or first game, which isn't necessarily the biggest deal, but I just would have liked to see some more variety of tricks from Miles. But that's fine. But yeah, that's honestly pretty much it on my thoughts on Spider-Man for now until the review comes. But yeah, great game so far. So let's move on to my weekly watch list. It kind of this kind of seems like a pointless segment because I really don't watch a whole lot during the week. I'm starting to find out, but I do watch some stuff. But I want to keep it up though because it gives me opportunity to talk about what I've been watching and stuff through the week. I do need to keep a better job at keeping track of like everything I consume, everything I'm gonna talk about, just to write it down though, just to see if I do want to talk about it. So I do gotta get better at that. But I was watching Fucks That's Delicious, and this is like one of my favorite comfort shows of all time. It's with Action Bronson. He's a rapper, and he has his friends, Mayhem, Loren, The Alchemist. If you're a hip hop head, you know who that is. Big Buddy Bez, and they're just so entertaining. And they just go around the world in New York and stuff, and they just try food, smoke weed, and just have a good time. And it's one of my favorite comfort shows to just throw on while I'm editing, or just really good background noise, or something I could fall asleep to. Just any moment I could cut on during that show just has me dying. But I brought this up because I was watching that. But Hulu was supposed to take it off. It was like, so this show's like leaving or expires or whatever. And the expired date came up, and they just didn't take it off. And that kind of just goes into what I was talking about last week with like the streaming and how important physical media is. Because if I'm pretty sure if I could cop Fuck That's Delicious on physical media, I would. And I should look into that because they could have just took it off Hulu and I wouldn't have nowhere to watch that show. And it's one of my favorite shows ever. So it's like, damn, if they did that, I would be assed out. You feel me? So that was just some weird that I wanted to bring up. And I watched Get Out again. It was probably like my third or fourth time seeing it, but it was just really cool. I was watching it while I was painting pumpkins. But it's just really, it's that's one of those movies that you're really glad, not glad, but it's really fun to rewatch after knowing everything in the story. You just look up, you just notice all the subtle moments and all the stuff that's pointing to the reveal, the big reveal of the movie. It's just very enjoyable to watch once you know all the knowledge. I was watching more Castlevania Nocturne. I really like that show. I really like it a lot. I would say though, it kind of does kind of just feel like it's the same story beats from the first two seasons. Just the vampires just trying to like get more power, and I guess like what else you can do more stuff, but what else would be their goal? Is just trying to like be world dominating. I feel like that was like what the first series was about, and it's fine because the characters are well designed and the action's really good. The editing's great. Like it's really well made, so it's enjoyable. So it's only a minor problem for now. I'm still only on like maybe the third or fourth episode, but I'm really liking it so far. There's this black lady that came. She's like the main vampire, and she has like this afro, and she turns into this like thing. I don't know. It's just really good, and I really love the characters designs. Bro, if I have not been watching Ahsoka, bro, I literally like got to the part where it's like about to reveal all the crazy shit that I've seen on Twitter and stuff, and I just haven't been really pressed to watch it. But I do want to finish it. Not saying I'm gonna finish it this week, but it's something I really want to finish. Not really want to, because I guess if I really wanted to, I would do it. But it's definitely I want to get back into it because I just want to finish that. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I need to be better at just writing down in general what I consume, just so I can have something to talk about in this section. I mean, not just so I can have something to talk about, but if it's interesting enough, then I'll talk about it. I'm trying to think if I need to watch that vampire movie. I brought it up like 2 weeks in a row now, and it's called like Vampire Hunter D or something, and I really want to watch it, and I need to put some time aside to check that out. So hopefully I would be getting to that this week, but again, no promises. Is there anything? I'll probably be playing Spider-Man this week, trying to beat it before I see a fucking spoiler on Twitter. So I'll be just trying to beat that and make content on that. If you want to see content on that, check out my YouTube channel, DS2 Smooth. And like I said, the extended version of that content, because it's going to be really edited down, and like all the side stuff will be cut out most likely. So if you want to see all the full playthrough without really any edits, though, spicing it up, but it's going to be the full length, check out my second channel, DS2 Smooth Extended. And I have a series planned called, I'm not going to say what it's called because what if it gets stolen? I have a series planned for that, though. It's not going to just be current stuff I play. It'll be fun. So it's worthy checking out, subscribing, and seeing where the future of that channel goes. But yeah, like I said, I gotta figure out what the topic for next week will be, because I doubt I'll have Spider-Man finish, and maybe main story, but definitely not all the side stuff. So I gotta figure out what the main topic for next week is. I was kind of thinking maybe to figure out what my favorite anime is. I have like a couple tops, and I do say what's my favorite, but I kind of want to get into that. And so that might be the topic for next week if nothing really comes out, which I don't think is coming out. I think the next like biggest thing that I really want to watch like before like Gen V, or this stuff might wrap up before, but before like Gen V, Loki, and stuff wraps up, to talk about those as a whole when they do finish. The next thing is probably the Marvels. Maybe there probably might be something else I got to go check, but yeah, the next week's episode might be my favorite anime, but we'll see. That's very just an early idea. It's still Sunday, so I have some time to figure it out. But yeah, so that's my weekly watch list. Before we wrap it up, I just want to ponder my orb, and really get situated for this coming week. And this section probably hasn't made a lot of sense these last two episodes because I try to release this on Monday. So it's like I try to release it on Monday just because like I'm talking about the news from the previous week, so you get the news for that, and you get to this section, you get to refocus your mind for the week or whatever. But again, pondering my orb this week, it just made me aware just to take your time. Like, you might be in a rush to do something or whatever. You might have, it's good to set deadlines, but just don't. For me personally, I just had to like take a step back and try not to stress myself out about the exact time things get done. And I'm not saying to not set deadlines, but for example, all right, let me give an example. Throughout my day, if I got to do this, this, and this, I got to do this. I'll say to myself, I got to do this by 9:30, and I should be done by this by 9:30. So I'll be doing this by 10, and so I got to be done with this by 12. And then that just doesn't end up happening, and it goes over that time. And I like kind of beat myself up, like, damn, I didn't get it done in that allotted time. And so what I needed to start doing is just saying I needed to do that stuff. And obviously, if it's on a time crunch, it's on a time crunch. But if it's not, don't try to box yourself into that time and beat yourself up when it's not done. Unless you because the stuff I was doing, like I didn't have a relative time that it would be, or a concrete time it would be done. I was just spitballing, and I was putting myself in those confinements, and I was kind of just beating myself up over time crunch that I made up, and just take your time when you can and just be in the moment. And I ended up, having a bunch of stuff to do instead of I did set the time crunch, and I refocused, and I was like, okay, fuck the time. This is what I got to do. Boom, let me do it. I've knocked it in. I knocked it out, and I wasn't stressed of like, fuck, I'm behind. I just stuck to it and knocked it out. But just take your time. It may and to harp on time. Wherever you're at in life, it may feel like you're behind, but everyone has their own journey and their own path that they're taking. And sometimes in reality, you are behind. And that's just the reality of things. And you just got to recognize that sometimes and kick it in gear. But also, you just have to, two things can be true at once. Like, everyone has their own journey, and that could just be where your story is taking you right now to figure that out. So, yeah, I just want to take that into the new week, and it's hopefully I can get this edited and stuff by the week that's coming up. But yeah, this is running to 2 hours, so that's kind of perfect. It's probably be a little less, maybe like 150 on this, maybe 150 on this episode, and I think that's probably gonna be where we land in most cases, 150 to 2 hours. So yeah, I probably just gotta be fine with that, I guess. But I think that's it for this week. Let me check my DMs to see if I sent myself any. I sent myself a little some, but it's not really worth talking about. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Yeah, so everyone have a good week. Be nice to people. And yeah, drink your water, all the shits. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.